Have you ever said something like, I just need to win bigger. I just need to earn more. The business just has to grow first. I'll take care of that when I. These are all depictions of a broken mentality. And today, Marty and I are going to break down what we call the arrival lie. That somewhere in the distant future, when you get where you want to go, when you get to there, and I know you have it there, I know you have one of these thoughts. Maybe that's a net worth. Maybe that's an income. Maybe that's a revenue. Whatever your there is, today we're going to break down how to think about it differently and why pursuing this goal, while noble and potentially really exciting for you, is just another illusion and just another cover up of what really matters to you. Now, I'm all for you pursuing business. I'm a big proponent of growing your business, making more money, evolving as a human being, and doing all the things together. I think that's really important. And inside of that pursuit, it can get really confusing as to why you're not happy or why you're not feeling fulfilled or connected to your work anymore. It can feel like you're choosing all the right things and still feel hollow and empty. You can ask me how I know. But today I want to take time to meet you where you are. And instead of trying to say, hey, don't chase that, to really just address one core concept. And that's this. You've got two options for what you pursue. You can pursue convenience and comfort, or you can pursue something bigger. We call that vision. And once you start to see the world this way, once you can open yourself to a new idea, which I hope you do with us, you may start to recognize some of your own patterns that are keeping you caught in the loop. Because if you are stuck saying, hey, I'm going to feel better when or I need to just go win bigger to feel a certain way, do a certain thing, spend time with the kids, to be at home, to be able to relax and unwind, to whatever end you are fighting, I bet we can find a better way. And with me today is Marty Noki, our integrator here. We're going to talk about this and try to drill down on a couple key things that you can change today so that you're not caught in the same lie that I got caught in. Marty, we're talking about comfort and convenience. We're talking about vision. I think that we have to make a trade. We have to trade vision for convenience and convenience for vision. And, that it all comes down to this idea of like, well, I'll deal with it when I get there. I'll work on this stuff when I get there. I'll create this when I get there. Has that ever been a part of your experience?
No, never. The crazy thing is so one of the things I've worked on this year, especially the past few months, is just being aware of how many times I'm saying that, like just how much it is a part of my thinking. I'll get to it when, I'll deal with that when, rather than just going after it. So yeah, all the time.
All the time. There is this degree of inflection, or I'll say it differently. There is a place in time where we're like, I feel off, like something just isn't right, and I guess I'll just have to hustle my way out of it, right? I'll just have to work my way out of it, and it causes this really interesting loop, at least for me, where I'm like, well, I'm just gonna, if I hustle and I just dig myself down, then I'll eventually get out of this. And then it won't be there anymore. And I've never, ever, ever found a way out by that method. Like it just doesn't work. I just end up working more, creating more problems, and like it just doesn't cycle. And underneath all of that, I think there is this idea that is perpetuated through the lens of entrepreneurship that basically suggests when you get to a certain place, you just escape your pain.
Yes. I think that's one of the lies I've told myself over time, that this was my story in ministry. Why was I in ministry for so long? Because I have convinced coming from that background, pain is the name of the game. Like you got to suffer. There's got to be pain. There's no good if there's no pain with suffering. And so I had convinced myself that, well, if I just do this, the pain will go. If I do this, the pain will go. If I do this, the pain will go. and the pain never went. The pain only got deeper for me until the point where I it got too great that I couldn't be there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was convenient. That was convenient.
Yeah, I struggled the same. This is the first time in my life where I've had one business. And the wild part about my reflection of why I had so many was largely for convenience of like, well, this could work, or this could work, or this could work. Had nothing to do with what I was committed to, had nothing to do with where I wanted to go. It was like, well, this will get me out, right? Anything to solve the problem. And that lends itself to a very big disaster, or did for me, where I had to completely reset and start over. Just got stretched too thin.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, how does it manifest itself? How has it manifested itself in my life? Because I think you and I think it manifests differently in our lives as to what that looks like. And for me, it was so rooted in obligation. Well, I'm obligated. I have to do this. I have to be the stable one. I have to be all these things I have taught. And if I could trace that back, like that's like a trajectory of my entire life, even as a kid. If there's all this chaos, someone has to be stable. Like I can't get myself drawn into it. And which is a gift, as you know, it's a gift. Like it's a gift I have brought even in this world. But there's also the curse side of it that I'm becoming mindful of as well. That there is a shadow to it. So I think I'm mindful that there is a gift, but there's also there's a darker side that comes with it as well. Being stable is a good thing.
Sure. Until you're like it's good for a while. And I think having stability is different than being making choices to keep you stable, right? It's like the floor and the ceiling. Like you don't want the floor to move, but you want the ceiling to get stretched and taller.
Yeah, and I think even as we grow as a business, and I would think others experience this as well. I have to step into instability, I guess is the word, kind of using the counterpoint. I have to step into instability to know that there is going to be a new stable. It's just finding what that new stable is and getting through the discomfort of getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. The pursuit of vision, right? If we're saying you get comfort or you get vision, stepping into vision can feel like it's rocking the boat, even though it's the safest thing.
And if it's working, why would I why would I change it? Why would
Right.
there's no reason to change it.
Well, and that's the danger of comfort, right? Is that we're like, oh, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Like, why would I change? It's not broken, it's not broken, it's not broken. And then immediately or at some point, there's this moment where you're like, oh, we are way behind. That conversation seems to be very loud in the lens of AI, right? AI is sort of branding itself from like a high level as learn this now or you're going to be left behind.
Correct,
And it's
yeah.
incredibly inconvenient to change your systems, change your structure right now because it's changing so fast. Nobody knows what's going to stick and not going to stick. And you got to rewrite systems and change job roles and learn new tools. And that is incredibly inconvenient. That adoption is incredibly inconvenient. And also, if you don't, there's going to be a time in the future where you just can't catch up.
Yeah, and I think I think there's always I think there's lots of layers to all of it because I'm also mindful. Well, how does my comfort interact with your comfort, and what happens when one of us changes comfort? And and I think there is you are uh, much more leaning towards risk. You will take risk, which can be reactive. It can be a reactive thing. And if I even begin to think, all right, well, I need to do something, that starts to feel like reacting. That starts to feel like risk. And so then my tendency is to pull back. It's to go back to the comfort piece rather than if I want to grow, that's the way I have to go.
Yeah, the idea of arriving is interesting too because it perpetuates a place as if I'm going to walk in a magical door somewhere and then all these things are just going to disappear or dissipate. And what dude, I really think that the pain that most entrepreneurs have is really important to them becoming entrepreneurs, right? There's like something has to go wrong for you to be like, I'm going to choose this. And that's a great catalyst. And if you extend that for a long time, it just collapses. This is my story. I also get to have conversations with people who on paper are incredibly successful, and I would argue themselves think they should feel differently day to day. They should feel different about their business. They should feel different about their health. They should do something different with their time. They should be running their business. Like all these shoulds, and are somewhat trapped in their current circumstance, right? Waiting for the arrival lie to unfold where they something happens and they can just say, oh, it's not a problem anymore. It's fascinating to study this, and there is a whole anecdotal piece to these stories of like, these are just things I've heard over and over and over. I meet people in transition. I love that. But there's actually studies that have been done on this about why entrepreneurship feels so empty and why success can feel so empty. And there was a journal posted about this, and it cites various different things. It cites dopamine loops and the hedonic treadmill, this idea of like external big business accomplishments not really lending itself to deep satisfaction. And what I think these studies are pointing to in the pursuit of business and more is that what most of us are really deeply after is something that we can pursue. That feels like the entrepreneurship gift and curse in a box. I want to pursue. If I get there, I'm going to stop pursuing. And this is the paradox. Because if I get there and I stop pursuing, I'm not the entrepreneur anymore. Right? We say we want to get to freedom and like all this, but then we die.
I would assume then it becomes tied up in your entire identity, right? So if that's the case, then I'm going to continue to sabotage myself over time in order to protect this identity that I have created for myself. Because if the identity's gone, then what's left of me?
Thinking of it this way might be helpful. I left a job to pursue entrepreneurship. I'm assuming a lot of our listeners. I left the job to pursue entrepreneurship. The language, once I became an entrepreneur, was not to be an entrepreneur. The language in entrepreneurship is get to a place where you don't have to work. I want to be free. Dude, I hear it all the time. I want to do when I want, what I want, how I want, with who I want, wherever I want. And I'm like, so you want to be a child? Like, what the hell are we talking about here? Adults, that's not what adulthood is. There's no reality in that. What you want, when you want, how, what you want, just, I want grapes. So I'm going to go have somebody fan me and bring me grape. Like, what are we really talking about here? And underneath that is still the same kind of escapism from a 9 to 5. It's no different. I'm going to work until I can retire. Okay. Well, entrepreneurship, I can just do that faster, right? That's the real entrepreneurship conversation that's not being had. You are still playing this game like you played employment. It's no different. I still want to get out. And
just earlier.
I just want to get out earlier, right? I want to be 30 and retired, not 50, 60 and retired. And I can appreciate the purpose of that. But it still begs the question, if you got out, what are you going to do with your time? If you don't have to work, what are you going to do? What are you going to pursue? Right now, we're back to pursuit. Because that's what all of us, in my opinion, that is what all of us are after. What is the pursuit that allows me to feel fulfilled, successful, seen, heard, loved, and satisfied? And man, that's like not that hard to boil down into a concept, but it is very hard to experience.
Is it so? I'm just seeing if I understand. There is which I agree. I think all of us are designed for more. We want something more, and there's a pursuit to do that. My pursuit for more, I could pursue the vision as we're talking about, or I'm going to continue to pursue the convenience and the comfort, thinking that's going to get me to the vision, even though that's the block to it. So the pursuit, and I think this is the same. You could speak better of this than I can. The pain gets misdirected for the person leaving the job to become an entrepreneur. They often leave for the wrong reason. They have to find the right reason. And so I just kind of wonder if the pursuit gets misdirected as well along the way.
Yeah. This is comfort and convenience, right? It's actually comfortable for most entrepreneurs to just do more work.
Right.
It's
Work harder.
comfortable. It's and like when you get into vision,
I don't even think that's entrepreneurs. I think that's most of us are trained.
most people definitely. But if we're bifurcating and saying, look, there's comfort or there's vision, then part of pursuing when we think about vision is bigger than just work. And what makes it uncomfortable for people is that if I ask someone what their vision is, they're like, I spend time with my family, I get healthy. Okay, well, why then are you continuing to choose 12-hour days? Like you've escaped the need to work 12-hour days. Like you're in the 1%. You have a great income. You have a house, you have a car, you have a family, you have friends, you have people around you. Why then stay in the comfort of just working 12-hour days? What makes you want to work 12-hour days? And I can say from my experience, it is way more comfortable for me to sit on my laptop in the middle of my living room and work than it is to spend an hour and a half playing Legos with my 3-year-old. It's just more comfortable for me to do that. And that doesn't mean I don't love him. That doesn't mean I'm a bad dad. It just is way more comfortable for me to be like, I'm going to sit here and crank out an hour of work than to play Legos. I do it and I choose that. And that's because it's there in my vision to have a really good relationship. But it costs me the convenience of like, well, it'd be easy to just be like, dude, go play and me do my thing. It's way more comfortable for me to do that. But that's where the choice gets made. And like, I think the conversation for a lot of people that's misrepresented is that like working hard is vision. Working hard is not usually most people's vision. Most people are like, yeah, dude, I want to get there so I don't have to work as hard. But the uncomfortable thing is working less. It's actually setting up your business to work less. Because then you know what you got to deal with? The voices in your head, the fact that your relationships are frazzled, the fact that your health is shit, the fact that you're not really taking care of yourself, the fact that you don't know how to like journal and process and build awareness, the fact that your family dynamics are not the way you want, the fact that your structural like day integrity is not based on what you want, it's based on being reactive. Like then you got to actually work on that stuff. That's where the vision piece is.
There was a lot in there.
A lot of problems.
A lot of problems. Yeah, because I'm thinking. So for me, I'm much more slow and steady, and growth is slow and steady, and that's the long game. And I'm trying to get to the horizon. That's 2,000 miles away. Like I got to pace myself to get there, and I'm just kind of wondering where does that loop? Yeah, I think you and I probably know each other's pattern better than we do sometimes. Where does the hang up get for me that is slow and steady, which I think there's a gift to that.
Yeah.
But do I start to like, oh, well, look over there and look over there and look over there and then I forget where I'm going.
There's a Harvard Business Review study that they did about why success doesn't lead to satisfaction. And look, I'm this way. Before I've even gotten the chance to celebrate a victory, I've identified a lack, quote unquote, a new goal. And it's really just a lack, right? Not enough. Boom. Next. Boom. And then I can't even celebrate the success that I have. I can't even be there and be like, hey, this was a win. And that the way that the study has put out all kinds of anecdotal and sort of survey data is really interesting because it basically points to the fact that entrepreneurs learn dissatisfaction. They learn how to be dissatisfied, which is a great motivational tool at the beginning because it gives you lift. But then at some point, you got to get to a place where you can be like, okay, I can sit for a second and appreciate this and celebrate this and rest and recover and reflect. Otherwise, they just remain unhealthy correlations with like wealth, status, trophies, like wives. Like who knows what it is that is actually driving somebody, but it just perpetuates an inevitable outcome. And that is you can never get there, but you also can't experience the things that you think you would when you get there. as a result of that.
You can't get there, and when you get there, you can't be there.
Right.
That's essentially is what it is. I can't
Dude,
accept.
I hear it all the time. When I'm at work, I'm thinking about home. When I'm at home, I'm thinking about work. Like, well, then you're not where your feet are anywhere.
Right. Yeah, I'm always somewhere else. And I think as you know, there's lots of stories that go with that. There is the fact that I can't celebrate the win, but not celebrating the win for me has had a lot more to do with thinking I'm not enough and I'm not worthy of this. And so I think that's true to an extent. And eventually even that sense of dissatisfied will feed into the story that you have for yourself. I think for me it had much more to do with feeling unworthy and feeling like I'm undeserving of that praise. Even though I'm now I can look back and there was a lot of accomplishment there, I just had a hard time accepting that I was even capable of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I struggle with this idea of everything has to be a more with no cut, right? Just this is like America 101. It's just like grow.
Correct.
Everything grows. Like, well,
Correct.
hold on,
Correct.
man. Like we keep twisting the financial dials enough to make it look like we're growing. We're not growing. Like we had a down year. Like that's okay. But we have this lens of like, no, I have to be growing. I have to be growing. And that sort of creates this comfort of like, no, things aren't bad. Things are fine. Things are on fire. Like
I'm
it's
doing
okay
all
to
right.
be there.
I'm all right.
And this Harvard Business Review it's a good publication, but it points to recalibrating your enoughness gauges. That's what they call it. Your enoughness gauges. And it calls for reexamination of four key areas. One is your relationship with money, which, man, it's a really hard thing to recalibrate your relationship with money. It's
And
very difficult.
I was just listening to a podcast like that one story ties into so much. It is the dominant story for
Yep.
many Americans.
Yep. And that's the there for a lot of people, right? Well, when I make X amount of money, then I will spend time with my kids. I'll get in shape. I'll start going to the gym. Like it doesn't work like that. It genuinely does. Like change doesn't work like that. There's no threshold like crossing a marathon finish line where you just wake up and you're like, now I'm going to go to the gym. It just doesn't work. I can tell you as my income has grown, as the business has grown, multiple businesses over 10 years of being an entrepreneur, never have I been like, well, now that my income is X, I can do Y. Like, yes, there's a degree of, okay, I now have the ability to say yes to this thing, but it's not instantaneous. It doesn't just pop into my head that now this can happen. I still have to consider it against other options. There's still opportunity cost. It doesn't work. And your relationship with money is directly proportional, in my opinion, to your relationship with time. And when you get those things mixed up, it gets really hard to figure out what's up and what's down. But it's important. The second one is your relationship with achievement and really understanding like what's the cost of maybe growth or expansion, right? Am I getting any rest? Am I getting sleep? Are goals like making me angry or resentful of myself? I think that's my history. Like I didn't read 52 books this year. I'm a failure. Like what? What kind of standard did I set for myself? And what's the point of the achievement? Am I really just comparing myself to others to get validation?
What was the point of it anyway?
Yep. And then I think another one is that they have is recognition and status. Right? What's my relationship with recognition and status? Do I need to be the one getting bottle service at the table because I want everyone to look at me? Is that what I really want? I want someone to think I'm a celebrity or think I'm a certain caliber of person. And do I want that for me or do I want that for everyone else? And underneath all that, dude, my core wound, am I looking for recognition or status because I secretly doubt or question whether I'm lovable or enough or worthy of good things? Like that's the core wound underneath that.
Do you know where I learned I'll just call it the more factor I was at the Arundel Mills Mall. We were just there not long ago to see Fantastic Four. And when you walked in there, there used to be the FYI music store, which no longer exists, CDs. I remember walking in there. This is years ago, obviously. There's no CDs. And I had learned in my background about how do I discern, is this really what I want? And I still remember walking in that store and I had picked up a CD and thinking to myself, is this really what I want at the moment? And putting it back down, I'm like, I'll walk around the mall. And if I still want it when I get around the mall, then I'll buy it. I never bought the CD. Yep. There's lots of evidence of this. Like, if I'm hungry, do not go to the grocery store then, because you are going to buy something that you don't actually even want. And how that sense of more is built, it's built into the whole marketing system that we're used to in capitalism. It feeds into that more that I don't even really want it or need it, but somehow I have convinced myself if I want that, then I need that. But I learned it first. That's where it first clicked, was I still remember it in that music store.
Yeah. Do I want this or am I told to want it? And that, yeah, it's a hard thing to find out about yourself, that you're maybe not, you're not buying it because you want it at all. Really hard.
Yeah. Am I doing this just because that's what everyone else is doing? That this is what's expected of me.
Yeah. The trend, right? I mean, even going shopping for like clothes, you can get really swept up in the trend. And this is what people are wearing now. Do I like it? Do you do you even want it, or do you want to fit in? Right? Do you want, and I've had to go down the rabbit hole on this. Like, do I want to be seen? Like, I'll tell you a story. One night I had a weekend to myself, and who knows when this was, easily this year, weekend to myself. And I'm like,
wait,
all right,
a weekend by yourself this year? I thought that was like 6 years ago.
yeah, maybe not by myself, but an evening to myself, right? And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go out. Like, I'm just gonna go out. Put on something nice and go like sit at a bar, kind of journal or something. And I went through this whole awareness loop of, why am I going out right now? Like, what am I really doing? Like, what is it that I'm looking for? And I'll tell you the whole loop, because I don't want people to think this isn't real. Like, what the conversation that we're having is not real. This is very real. And I'm not afraid to share this, because I want someone else to be like, oh, okay, I'm not insane, but this is actually what awareness looks like, right? This is what it sounds like. Why do I want to go to the bar? Is it because I want someone to talk to me? Am I seeking connection? Like, is that what I want? Or is it because I want someone to walk over to me and validate that I look good, that I seem really put together, that I'm successful? Am I going to the bar because I want to drink? Am I going to the bar because a drink makes me feel good? Am I going to the bar because I want to connect to the bartender and like ask them to make me something creative so I seem cool and artistic? Like, what is it that I'm actually doing? Then I'm like, am I going to journal?
It's fascinating. Yeah.
Then, dude, this is a whole rabbit hole.
I'm going to journal. I have to go to a bar to do it.
I have to go to a bar, right? So I can make a cocktail here. I could make something here. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to journal. Well, why am I going to a bar to journal? Do I want to be around people? Is it the energy of like the environment, or do I want to journal just where there's like a vibe? Okay, cool. That's fine. Or am I journaling so that someone walks over to me and is like, hey, you seem interesting. I've never seen anybody journaling at a bar before, because that happens all the time.
Bring attention.
Yeah, in airports and all this thing, I'll bust out a journal and people are like, oh, what are you doing, man? That seems cool. What are you writing about? If you don't mind me asking, then I'm like, okay, why do I want to go out? What is it that I actually want from this? And as silly as it sounds, 90% of the reasons had nothing to do with me actually going out.
Well, and before
it didn't. It was all about this like lack. And I ended up, and it's like for most people, this is happening like so covertly that you don't even know. And I ended up going through this whole loop.
When you tell the story, it makes it sound like, oh, I'm agonizing this for hours and hours and hours, when in reality, it's happening like that. and then I just react to it, right? You could have just reacted,
Right.
and instead it was like the music store. Instead, I allow myself to step back, say, all right, what's really going on here?
Yeah. What am I
And
doing?
you gave yourself that space.
Dude. And this is like me looking to go to a bar. Imagine how complicated it would be if you were like, why am I running my business? Like, why am I going to this conference? Why am I selling this product? Why the fuck do I run a business that I hate? Like, like until you have a moment where you unpack all these things and start to look at it for what the story that you're telling yourself is really difficult. And I went through that whole loop and was like, you know what I really want? I, I want to, I want someone to tell me the thing that only I could tell myself. And that was like, Aaron, you're doing great. Dude, that's all. Like, I get emotional just saying that. Like, I just wanted someone to be like, hey, you're doing a great job. That's all. And that is such a silly thing to pack in all of that distance. Get dressed, go out, have a martini or something, sit at the bar with a journal, all because I want someone to remind me the thing that only I can remind me. And that's, you're doing great. And like underneath all that is the arrival lie. It's that when I get somewhere, when I get more successful, you know what someone's going to fucking do? They're going to walk up to me out of nowhere. They're going to be like, you're so amazing, dude. I love your show. You are so great. Oh my God. And because I can't do that for me.
I'll tell you what it was for me. Just listening to you, it was books. Like when I all my years of ministry, it's like, well, maybe that book will have the answer. Maybe that one will have the answer. I kept looking for the answer everywhere but myself, and I'd read. Well, this connects. This connects. This connects. But it was the same thing. Like it wasn't until I could finally face that myself. I read lots of books along the way, which was great, but it was still avoiding where I had to go. I react. That was my way of reacting. I reacted. Got this book, this book, this book, this book.
Yep. Yep. I hear that, man. Well, the piece that I find interesting internally is that those questions are really uncomfortable to like sit in, because maybe it's just me and my history, but I never was taught to like offer myself what I needed, or even I didn't even get asked what I needed as a kid. So, to do that for myself now as an adult seems like an elementary thing, but it's really just a journey of, becoming more emotionally intelligent. But I think practically speaking, a lot of business owners get stuck in a loop that's similar, where it's like, I need to get to 10 million, but it's no different than me wanting to go to a bar. Like, why? Do you want some kind of award? Like, what is it that you're really after? And if you actually unpack that deep enough, usually the thing that they want is available right now. Because at that point, like whatever your revenue number is, maybe it's 7 figures, maybe it's 10 figures. I don't know. Like whatever, wherever you're at, like the next big milestone for you can feel like, all right, then I can blank.
But yeah, like why can't I just accept it now? Why can't I do that? What have you learned as to like,
because it's inconvenient. And that's the point of this episode, right? Because it's incredibly inconvenient to do it now. It requires a complete rewrite. That's the point of vision. I can't do it now because it's inconvenient.
If I want to spend more time with my kids, which we've heard that one often, it means I have to disrupt everything that has been comfortable for me in order to make it happen, even though it would just be like that and I can do that.
It's right there. It's just hella uncomfortable and inconvenient to do. I might have to rewrite my entire job role, or I might have to hire somebody that I don't know how to hire. Or, dude, let's go even deeper. I might have to reconcile the fact that I have not seen my son in a meaningful way for 16 years. And he's about to leave the house for college, and I don't know how to talk to him. I've dealt with this as a proxy, as a coach, both coaching athletes and coaching CEOs. Like, I've dealt with this situation. Like, dude, I know it's inconvenient, but if you wait until your revenue gets to a certain place, it's still going to be inconvenient, because it's never going to be convenient for you to rebuild a broken relationship, ever.
Yeah, and I'll add this other piece. I had said this earlier. what is then the pattern that you're setting up for that 16-year-old? Because you're also informing their pattern as to, I'm not important enough, I'm not of value. They don't care that you have to do XXXXYZ before you get there. They don't even know that. So what is the consequence of that choice now for that child 16 years down the road?
Literally 24 hours ago, at least as we're recording, we just signed on a new client, fourth generation in the business. And there's a level of resentment for his father prioritizing business over him his whole life. And now he's at this crossroads. And I think this is a common crossroads of like, if I prioritize what I want, I risk exile. And here's the catch, right? This is what creates the comfort bubble that we're like, no, it's fine. And then the cost of that is his future. But the comfort bubble is like, if I address the hole in the relationship, I could risk losing my job. And if I lose my job, I risk losing the relationship. Like, what a bind, right? I get that it's hard. But if you do nothing, that becomes the lock for the rest of your life. And, I'm excited to work with him.
So let me describe it this way. There is, something's going to explode. That's often what it feels like. It's going to explode. There's a risk if I do this. There's also, it's just going to explode because if I don't do anything, it's going to explode. The risk allows the opportunity where it may not actually do that. And how do you make that choice rather than just letting it explode?
Yeah. And this is the lie, right? It's like, I'm excited to work with him because we get to unpack the stability that is a guaranteed fail. Because if nothing changes, it will blow up. Right. And I think a lot of business owners are actually stuck here. That's why they call us. It's like, hey, I can endure this for 6 months, but if it goes on a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I can't, I won't. And like, at the same time, it's foolish to be like, well, it's really bad, but I can endure it for 6 months, so I just won't change anything. Then the risk is this is the risk to me. If you change nothing, you guarantee failure.
Correct.
If you change something, you risk change. Right? It's not complicated. It's just incredibly scary. And like the lie that we live in is, well, it's stable. Like, it's not fucking stable. It's on fire.
So much of it gets convoluted in the misrepresentation, yes. Misunderstanding. Like, it's going to explode, but it could be so subtle, the story that you tell yourself, that you avoid doing it.
I would like to rewrite the movie Titanic. And here's how I would do it.
I'm sure there's a conspiracy person out there that will help you.
I'm in for that. But I want the lookout deck to see the iceberg from miles away. And I want them to be like, I think we'll be okay. It looks small. Because that's the fucking problem. That's what happens in entrepreneurship. Like,
right.
I mean, we'll bounce off it. It's fine. Like, no, you're about to crash and the whole ship is going to sink. And this is the lie of comfort. Comfort is such a conniving little shit. Like, comfort is so good at being like, well, I mean, anything could go wrong over there. Like, but your house is on fire. So are you going to stay in this house? And I think in a way, Marty, our job is to make a very complicated situation look incredibly simple and polarizing.
Right. And
I've said this. Right. Yeah, I've said this to a lot of clients. I've said this on stages. I've said this in retreats. You get two options with me. Either you move the direction of your vision, the thing that you want, the thing that compels you, this contribution, this impact. And it doesn't have to be like philanthropic. It can just be like, I want to be a better person, or I want to be a better leader. Like, you got to move that direction, or I'm going to set your chair on fire. That's your options. And usually most people's chair is already on fire.
Right. You just have to throw more gasoline on it.
Or just wake them up. It's like the boiling frog. Like, if you just turn the water up slow, the frog never jumps out.
Speaking of that guy's business, though, family business sucks. and I don't know how people do it. I've been there. It sucks, and I'll be curious over time whether even his perspective on his father changes, because once you're then in it, it's like, oh, well, now I get why my father was doing what he was doing.
Yep.
The so the, and I've my previous life. If you're a Bible person, the story of the prodigal son is all on what we're talking here. The one son chooses convenience. He stays with the father. He becomes resentful. He hates his brother. He does out of convenience and
Mm,
gets pissed off because the other one chooses to go and do his thing and fails along the way, but he still took the risk of going.
yeah.
And how easy it is to just stay there
Just stay. Yeah.
when and he wanted like we were talking, he wanted validation. That's all he wanted was validation.
Yeah. The the most puzzling thing about entrepreneurs, and I'm this way. So I'm looking myself in the mirror when I say this. I don't want you at home to be like, man, this guy is just on his high horse. I am not. I'm calling myself out here. I will choose the worst situation for myself and call it easy. I'm like, I can handle this. I can do this. And meanwhile, everyone around me can be like, I mean, this seems wildly like this doesn't seem like you at all, right? But I can convince myself that this bad situation is fine.
Right.
My chair is on fire, but like it's fine, right? All
Aaron,
because check
Aaron,
this out.
Aaron will always choose hell over anything
I
else.
can do that, right? I can do that. I can sit in the chair and I can endure the flames, all because I don't want to deal with the hard thing.
Right, right.
And the real hard thing is not the flames. That's actually easy for me.
Because that's
That
where you're
stuff's hard.
comfortable. You're comfortable there.
Dude, it's my home. Like I can handle trouble. I can handle grief. I can handle pain. I can handle doubt. I can
Right,
handle
right.
fear. But the hard thing is for me to steer into possibility and connectedness and safety and peace. Like that's hard for me. And every time I'm like, well, I'll fix it later. I just sit back in the burning chair, right? Or not like I know I'm stretched too thin, but like let me just get through this. Let me like get through this quarter. It's just a sprint. Back in the burning chair.
The chair, and I think this is, I think both of us just in different ways. The chair then, because I'll approve you this time. It's different.
I can
I'll
handle it.
approve. Yep.
Yep, I can
Yeah.
handle it.
It's that stubborn side. That stubborn side.
And all of this is because it works, quote unquote. Like it's working enough. It's not ideal, but it's working. And every time I can recognize this, I'm making intentional efforts to be faster at it, to be like, okay, the system broke. It's hard, right? The chair's on fire. Okay. But let me make an inconvenient choice. And I'll give you an example of that just for everybody listening. So you don't think that Marty and I just live in woo-woo land all the time. Here's a couple examples, crispy, of like what it looks like to choose the inconvenient thing in pursuit of what you want. Number one, build a system. Hands down, the hardest, most inconvenient thing for me to do ever is to slow down and build a fucking system. I hate it. I absolutely detest building a system. I would rather jump into like an oil barrel and have you light it on fire than for me to sit down and write a system.
Can that be the next episode?
I'll just get a picture of, yeah, let's figure this out. That'll get some clicks.
Mythbusters. We'll be the Mythbusters.
Yeah. The second thing is delegating. It's right here. Here's the convenience. Convenience is like, it only takes me 5 minutes, but it's 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, five. It's like 3 hours a week, but it's 5-minute increments.
No one can do it better than me.
No one can do it better than I can. Like, I'm writing an email. Like, please, everyone can pick better than I do. So that's number two. Number three is communicating an emotion. Like, hey, that bothered me, or hey, I'm frustrated, or hey, whatever it is. Hey, I like this. Hey, this is bad. Hey, can we do more of this? Like, it is so much more convenient for me to just be like, whatever, and move on, versus voice my actual feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a note in my shower that says it's safe. Like it's on the wall. It's safe for you to express your feelings, and you won't end up alone. Like that's how real it is.
Yeah, and for me, because stability is such a part of who I am, that makes it very hard because me expressing that feels unstable for myself. And you know this, huh? Like I'm learning to be able to express that, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. I'll give you another one. Uh, a great place that is inconvenient for me is stillness, reflection. Very uncomfortable,
How many times the
wildly
past few
uncomfortable.
days just alone have I said, you got to slow down, you got to slow
Yep.
down, you got to slow
Yep.
down?
And look,
That feeds into the pattern. You keep going, going,
correct.
going, feeds the
I'm just
pattern.
pouring oil on the or gasoline on the burning chair, right? That's all I'm just like dumping it on my own head.
Right.
And look, those four things. So systems, delegation, emotional communication, connect, which I would call connection. And what was this last one? Oh, slowing down. Like those four things, those are all the things I said I would do when I got there. And here's the secret. That's the way you get there.
Right, exactly.
That's how you have to do it now. You can't do it there. Like, yeah, it's comical to think about.
Right.
I'll give you another good example of this that came up this week. We were talking about culture in one of the coaching calls, and I asked him to map out all the things he would do at a certain revenue point. He wants to get revenue really high, like 10x what it is. And I'm like, okay, write out all the things that you would do with your team to show them that you care about them, that you believe in them, that you want to see them grow, the opportunities you'd afford them. Like, write out all of it. So we wrote out a whole recipe book: retreats, meals, celebrations, reflections, roasts, like all these fun things. He's like, man, it's going to be awesome then. I'm like, no. It's going to be awesome next quarter when we start this. He's like, well, wait, but I don't have the resources. Like, no. We're not starting there. We're not starting the full capacity, but we're going to build this in. How do you think people are going to find you? You can't have a shit culture and get 10x results. And then at that number, just be like, all right, we're going to change everything. Now I love you. It's not going to work like that. You have to build that into the process along the way. And that method, that idea of culture, I'm now doing with like 4 companies, like directly. And that container, that conversation is all about the arrival lie. You can't build the culture when you get to the revenue. You get to the revenue because you have the culture. It's like, it's not hard, right? Burning chair or move. Pick one.
I know. It again, I think it can be so nuanced, and it's weird. I'm so good at convincing myself otherwise. I'm
Same.
so good at it.
Oh, man.
Well, if I do this, it's all in my head.
Right. Dude, it's in clothes, it's in gear, it's in tech. The same thing is in every tech solution ever. This will make your business better. Like, no, it won't. That doesn't change. Like, we could have the best AI on the planet. We could have the best. That's not going to make the business all of a sudden completely automated, because I would have to, and you would have to do things very differently if we wanted a completely automated business, right? It's worth everyone asking the question. And it sounds really simple, but the question is like, what have you kept the same? Not because it's working well or it takes you where you want to go, but because it's comfortable. And you might find that the way you sell, the way you buy, the products you use, the thing, dude, I even think of this like something like a blue collar business or running an Airbnb. Like, it's easy to be like, well, it's not broken. Don't fix it. Well, I would say that if it's not taking you where you want to go, it is broken. And it's easy to be like, well, this is the product that we use. This is the script that we use. This is like, people are booking. Yeah. That doesn't mean it's working.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Hoover Dam. Well, there's a little hole there, so I'll just patch that, and then it's here, patch.
Yeah.
Rather than dealing with the problem.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to mix up stability and fear.
I think it's like the heart of so much of our problems as people.
Yeah.
What we're talking about here.
Yeah. Look, success can feel remarkably empty. It's lonely at the top. We did a whole podcast on this. Lonely at the top. No, it's not. You're just a lonely person. You're just not good at relationships. If it's lonely at the top, you didn't build a fucking team. You didn't build relationships. You stepped on people. That's the reality. If it's lonely at the top, you done messed up, Ron. And I think the question underneath is like, what are you really chasing? Right? Can we actually take the time to think about this, and then you build it into your process? And that doesn't mean that you start highest level. It means you start small. Some people are wildly out of shape, and they're like, okay, when I make X amount of money, I'm going to go to the gym. Like, do you realize how hard that's going to be? You're not just going to be like, well, I'm worth $10 million, so the gym is easy now. Like, the gym's going to suck for you. If you're overweight, the gym is not fun.
Now you're 600 pounds.
Yeah. If you're overweight, the gym is not fun. Like, if you're like, I'm lean, I'm fit, the gym's still not always fun. I've made it fun because I've coded it, but it's not fun. And if you think that because you have net worth, your priorities, your demand, your system, your structure, your calendar is going to look remarkably different, you're wrong. Now you have more responsibilities, typically. And even guys that like exit their business, when they call and we go through our program, I'm like, so you could do anything. Why don't you still don't choose the gym, man? Like, you just got wired 7 figures into your bank and you still don't go to the gym. You don't even have a job anymore, man. Like, what is it that is keeping you in this loop? And it has nothing to do with this there. It has everything to do with the commitments, the patterns, and the comfort that you choose. So it's always worth reevaluating. And I get fired up about this because the last thing I want for someone is, unfortunately, the thing that I've experienced countless times. You run out of time. I lost a lot of friends really young, just gone. And then what do you leave behind? They're like, that guy worked too much. Dude, I literally have a girl that I coached, lost her dad just one night. She was 12.
Gone.
And the more I learned about that situation, the more I realized what she will remember more than anything is how much he worked. And that informed a lot of how I think about leading. And I know 100% that my ambition has been diminished. That's not the right word. That I've exchanged some ambition for presence with Emerson. And I'm happy to make that trade because I know what the cost is at the top. And if I said, all right, well, I'm just going to keep working, I'm not going to see him now. Formative years, right? Really formative years. I'm going to just hustle. I'm going to get a little further, get a little better along. And then I'll end up spending time with him. That moment's gone. That shit's gone.
It's just what you said about the client, right? You become resentful of the father because he wasn't there.
And dude, what I've recognized is yeah, I'm going out and I'm helping men typically that are hard charging, get more dialed in with their families and more connected to what matters to them. And then he would be like, what about me? Right. And I wouldn't be mad at him if he said that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then there's it's like a knife to your integrity.
Totally.
There's no integrity at all.
I'm going out and telling people hey, you don't need $10 more million to go have breakfast with your son, but I'm not having breakfast with him. One of the things I'm proudest of is that the schedule where I see him, I'm in. I'm cooking him breakfast. I'm cooking him dinner every single day. And as silly as that sounds, that's what it looks like. And it does reduce my capacity in business, but it's also what I stand on. That's vision, right? To me, that's vision. You've got to get rid of the convenience. And the convenient thing to do would be to hire someone to make dinner, hire a nanny to be here full time, and just go do what's easiest for me, which is work until I'm blue.
Yeah, because you reduce yourself as the provider at that point. I'm giving him what he needs, but you're not.
Right. It's worth asking. And from when you start going, I think my biggest shift has been to change from proving myself to expressing myself.
Yeah, big time.
That's been the shift. And in that, my achievement goals have now become relational goals. They're oriented around a long game. I'm playing a 10-year game now. I'm playing a 20-year game now. And that's a different perspective. It's not success through a metric. It's success through connection, right? This business is growing because of connection, not because of metrics.
And you know that once you make that shift, when I've made that shift in my life, it is so easy to spot the person who's still trying to prove something
Totally.
because there's a different energy to it.
Yeah, dude. I was on a call with a guy that got connected to us from a client, and he was like, "Man, you are really calm." And I was like, "I was way more manic than you are," because he was describing how many things he's got going on and how chaotic it's like. I'm like, dude, I would make your mania look like a one-man band, like piece of cake. But I've had to grow. I've had to change. I've had to evolve. I've gone through fire, and I sat on the burning chair for long enough that I was like, dude, this is not comfortable anymore. And, I hope that more people can experience that kind of shift without the pain. Like, I had to do it through the pain. I don't want people to go through that. That's why we built what we have. Like, yeah, you don't need all the pain. Let's go through this. Let's talk about this. Let's build this.
We may go through it different ways, which we do, but I think both of us are evidence that there is something beyond that. There is something beyond that.
Yeah, there's another way. Yeah, I was coded not to know that way, and now we built a code so that other people understand that too.
Yeah, and it's not that, not just you coding yourself that way. That's the code of the culture of the society we live in, and it feeds it all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this wherever you are, wherever you're listening, whether you're here on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast on Apple or Spotify. I want to know your thoughts on this. I want to know what you think. I want to know what upsets you, what triggered you, what defiance you have against it.
Or how does it show up in their life?
Yeah, like what is the thing that you're like, well, it's not that bad, or this is uncomfortable, but it's fine. I want to know. I want to hear from you. I want to listen. I want to understand where you might be stuck, and you can do that via Instagram. You can send me a Facebook message. You can send me an email. Lots of ways to find me, but I would love to know where you're at with this subject. Are you lost in the hedonic treadmill? Are you lost chasing outcomes and achievements, but it feels hollow? And if so, send me a note. Send me where you're at. Tell me what's going on. Let me understand it. And then we can talk about it. And even if you don't ever have to buy anything from me. I stand by that. I would love to just help you. And it might inform what we talk about on the next podcast. And maybe we make the podcast direct to what you want to hear, what you want to learn about, and where you want to go.
And just like one point that I would make, and you would agree, the shift can be like 1%, but that's all it takes.
Yep. A little mindset shift goes a long way. Mind shift. Mind shift. Say that 5 times fast. Mind shit. Yeah, we got to clear your mind shit. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you tuning in. Send me a note. Tell me where you're at. We'll see you on the next episode. Consider one choice today, just one, where instead of comfort, you choose vision. You choose the inconvenient. You'd be surprised where that might take you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one.